not a game, it's a rich thing.
To the next stage here and take a look at a lease option deal, and we can then discover the benefits to you and me, the investor, right? All right. So everybody on board with me? Everybody knows where we're going? All right. The train is about to leave the station. All right. Does anybody have a deal they brought? Yesterday, I offered to let anybody that had a deal that wants to talk about it, we can break it down right here. If you have a deal, it's like being at a wedding. Speak now or forever hold your peace. No, you can interrupt me later if you want, but let's just go ahead and do one then. Let's assume the fair market value is $325,000. Okay. Let's assume the annual rate of appreciation, you've looked it up online, and the annual rate of appreciation is 3.25% per year. Okay. So repairs, we're going to need $0 in repairs. We're also going to find out that the fair market rent for this property is $2,450 a month. All right. This now, when we call the seller, we're going to use the guts conversation, right? And we're going to find out this information. So right now, we're going to have to assume a few things because we haven't spoken with the seller, and so we don't have all of this information down exactly as we should. But here we find out that on Zillow, the homeowner is asking $342,000. Okay. Down payment, we don't know yet. So we're going to assume zero at the moment. The term, we can figure we're probably going to ask him to do a 36-month term or 3 years. Okay. We might be able to come back later after we've talked to the homeowner and adjust these numbers and change this and redo these things. But this gives us a good analysis of this particular deal before talking to the homeowner even. So arrears means he's probably late on payments. Let's assume he's not, and we'll put a zero there. And then the monthly rent, let's just assume for ease of assumption and story here that he's going to be at the $2,450 a month level, just like the fair market rent, where the house lives in the neighborhood. The house is in that neighborhood. That's what the neighborhood brings. That's probably close to his payment. That's probably close to the rent that you'll collect. So let's just assume that. We'll find out later when we talk to the homeowner. However, we do have enough information now to fulfill these formulas, okay, and fill out the tenant buyer side. So here we're going to discover what the tenant buyer price is. That's what we would mark the property up. If we contracted the homeowner for what he's asking at $342,000, knowing that the house is only worth $325,000, let's go ahead and do our formula and see what happens. The first thing we're going to do is the part in the parentheses, the appreciation times term. Appreciation is 3.25%. The term is 3 years. So let's do the math. What's 3 times 3.25? Anybody know?
9.75.
9.75. Okay. So we're going to take fair market value according to this formula. We're going to take the fair market value of $325,000. And then we're going to add 9.75%, which leads to $356,000. I'm going to write that down. $356,687. $688. Are you getting excited yet? I am. That's all you got to say right there. You don't even have to say anything else to me. I get excited. Why am I excited already? Somebody help me out. I haven't even finished my formulas here, but I'm excited already. Anybody know why I'm excited? Are you seeing it? Is it starting to come together in your mind? See, after you've done this for a little while, you start to see it before you get done even doing the math. You start to see it come together. All right, look at this. Let's go to the next one. Tenant buyer price minus the seller's price plus down payment equals the option fee. Now we're going to calculate our paycheck. So tenant buyer price $356,688. $356,688 minus the seller's asking price, which, holy shit, we ought to be able to at least get it under contract for what he's asking, right? $342,000. That leaves a difference of $14,688. Okay. Now, we haven't considered down payment here yet. But on this particular deal, $14,688. All right. If we were to add whatever down payment requirement the homeowner gives us, okay, let's assume the homeowner says, okay, I'm going to need $10,000 down. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of money, $10,000. Well, hell, if we deduct that from our $14,000 in profit potential, we're only going to make $4,688. But we could add it to the $14,688, which would make $24,688. Okay. So if the homeowner wants a $10,000 down payment, I'm just going to add it to what I figured my option profits were. And I'm going to ask the tenant buyer to pay both. So instead of $14,000, if we added the $10K, it would be $24,688. Okay. That's if we add the down payment right here, the $10,000. And we're assuming that the seller is going to do a $10,000 down payment. We don't know that. We haven't talked to him yet. But so $24,688 possible option fee. $14,688 of which would be our profits. Okay, does that make sense? All right, the fair market rent, we're just going to keep passing this number right on over. So we're not going to sandwich this one, so we're going to assign it. It's all going to be good. So you can see on this potential deal here, we have a potential profit of $14,688. And we are overpaying for the property by $17,000. You mean you made an offer on a property $17,000 more than it's worth, and you still made $14,000? Yeah, do it all the time.
Justin, quick question. On your lease purchase ad, do you put the tenant buyer price or not?
Yeah, I do. I put the tenant buyer price.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Do you also put the down payment?
I put reasonable down payment required. That's all I put. I don't name a down payment. And then I'll ask them how much they have to invest in their next home. Okay. Well, if they only got 7, that ain't going to work for this deal. Right? Why will it not work if I got a tenant buyer that comes to me that's only got $7K down? Why will that not work? Somebody explain it to me.
But you got to get the seller 10 right off the jump.
Yeah, because I owe the seller 10. Where am I going to come up with that cash if I don't get it from the tenant buyer? So what's the bare minimum I can take on a tenant buyer offer? Let's say a tenant buyer comes to me. He's got a good job. He's got a decent rental history. I like him. He just seems like a square kind of guy. So I want to do the deal. What's the minimum amount of money I could take and really do this deal?
10. You would
20.
have to figure out how much you want
Ed's
to make. Because
Ed's
you got to
cracking my
come up
balls
off of
here.
10.
He said 10. 10, yeah, but you wouldn't make any money at 10, right, Ed?
Right.
At the
So it's
end, I
got to
guess
be at least 10 plus whatever you're trying to make.
I'm sorry, LaShonda, you sound like you were being kidnapped at the moment, and they were putting a hood over your head.
I was saying you would have to take at least 10, and then I guess you would need to factor in how much you need to make. Like if you only want to make a couple thousand or whatever, you have to at least take 10 plus some type of fee that you will want to make.
Perfect answer. Exactly, yeah. You're going to need to get at least 10 because you're going to have to give 10 to the seller. But anything beyond 10 is what? If your tenant buyer gives you anything more than 10, it's what? Yeah, it's my money, baby. Yeah. That's mine. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to count my money? All that up there above 10K, that's me. I know I'm stupid. I love you guys though. All right. So anything over 10K, I know I've got a winner here. So now that I know this deal the way that I know it, I've looked up the fair market value. I've looked up the appreciation. I know the repairs are going to be none because I can see it's a nice house in a nice neighborhood, a nice price tag, and it's nice pictures. The fair market rent, all that. Let's just assume that's okay for now. But when I call the seller, I already know a few things, don't I? I already know that I don't have to beat him up on purchase price, don't I? I also know that this monthly rent here is what it is, so I'm probably in the ballpark for him on this, but that'll be easy to work out with him, I'm sure. Where are the real deal making? What's the pinch points? That's not the right word. The hinge pin. What are the hinge pins here in these statistics? While I'm on the phone with him, what am I most concerned about making sure that I nail that? If I nail that, I've got a deal.
3 years.
3 years is very important. I'm going to give him way too much money above fair market value to just do this for 12 months. I'm going to need the 3 years for sure. So that's a hinge pin. I got to have it. What else might I have to have? Anything else? What else might I have to have? This down payment's got to be reasonable.
Yeah.
See, if he starts going beyond 10, this deal gets weak. He's getting way more than fair market value on his asking price, and now he wants way hella cash. Okay, that's not going to work. We can give him up to about 10 here, maybe a little more, but it can't be crazy. Can't be getting crazy. Okay, so this is a hinge pin. I've got to make sure that I get 3 years and that I get a reasonable down payment. I can give him everything he's asking for it if I can get those two things. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys and gals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the monthly rent, I don't know, for some reason, it tends to just kind of work out a lot. But those are the important things, man. That down payment and that term in this particular deal, especially. So if I were to only get 12 months from the guy, I hang up the phone. The guy, he's like, I'm like, hey, would you do something creative with me for 24, 36 months? I wouldn't say 24 to 36, by the way, if I know I got to have 36, right? I'm not going to suggest a bad deal for myself. So I'm going to say something like this on this particular deal. Yeah, Mr. Homeowner, would you consider doing something creative with me for a few years? Okay. A few years. Well, what's a few years? What? How about 48 months, maybe 60 months, 4 or 5 years? Is that comfortable for you? Well, we could probably back it down to 36. Okay, but I really know I want 36 anyway. Okay, 36 is cool. So I'm going to have to negotiate that term with him. And then I'm also going to have to negotiate that down payment with him. And once I get that done, if I can get him to sign it, man, this is a hella good deal. I'm going to make how much again?
14.
$14,000. Yeah. Paying way too much and giving the guy $10,000 in cash. What if the guy wanted $15,000 in cash? Could I still do it?
Yeah, you just make 10.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah. Worst case scenario, I make 10. Okay. So now maybe you guys see why I love this business. I love it, love it, love it. It's literally like creating money out of thin air.